Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the Phillips Project, where myself and Jacob Collins from 3D Movie Cinema are going to be reviewing every Tom Phillips, Todd Phillips directed movie in honor of Joker Folie à Deux coming to theaters in early October. We've already covered Road Trip and Old School. Those links are in the eye in the right-hand corner. Do check those out. But for right now, we have to take a bit of a slight dip in quality. We got to talk about Starsky and Hutch. But before we do that, though, I have to introduce my co-host, Jacob Collins. Jacob, how you doing?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for the hype. I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. It's not every day we get to talk about two really good movies and then one mediocre movie that I used to love as a child. Now I'm just like watching this going, uh, this poster used to hang in my video store like as a kid when we were there when like they had the mom and pop video stores. We had this little Bond video store, and we used to walk in there and they had a Starsky and Hutch poster from this movie, and I'm like, oh, that movie looks so cool. So one day we rented the movie and I just watched it and I loved it, and then it came on FX a lot as a kid and I watched it and loved it. Watching this now, I was like, I used to love this movie, and then I watched it and I'm like, this is a couple of months ago, I'm like, this is not as shit. Other cop movies have done this better. I mean, like this is basically 21 Jump Street, but I would say 21 Jump Street did this better.
I was also going to say the other guys. I was picking up other guys' vibes from this.
Other guy vibes, and I was just saying though, like it reminded me of like 20. The only reason it reminded me of 21 Jump Street because I feel like it's a TV show that was more serious that was adapted into a feature film. And but that was R-rated. This was PG-13, but there is an unrated version. Apparently, I honestly like this is just I thought it was okay. What'd you think? But I mean, well, first you got to say what's it? It's directed
Well,
by Todd Phillips.
yeah, directed by Todd Phillips. It is based on the television show of the same name, and it follows two cops named Starsky and Hutch, played by Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, respectively. And they are on the hunt for a cocaine dealer played by Vince Vaughn, who looks suspiciously like, whose name shall remain nameless for the sake of anonymity, but someone that we know. Throughout this entire movie, first of all, let me just say, I thought the movie was fine. It was competent. It made me chuckle on an occasion. This is easily the weakest of the three films we've covered so far. My one prevailing thought throughout this whole movie, who asked for this? Because I distinctly remember in 99, because 99 Project, like they did a movie on Wild Wild West. And I love that movie to pieces, but I know it's terrible and it's based on a TV show from the 60s. So who was sitting there asking, what hasn't been done for a while? Starsky and Hutch. Like, what was Dragnet already taken? Well, Dragnet had already been done. So I don't know, just very weird choice.
You know what we haven't done yet? The Love Boat. Let's do a Love Boat, but as a comedy.
Yeah, for real, or do something like Columbo, but it was like a comedy or something. Todd Phillips must have and you were saying that Todd Phillips must have cashed in all his favors in the casting department because this movie is absolutely loaded. Not just Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. You got Snoop Dogg, not just in a cameo, but in an actual like role.
Supporting role.
That's very true. Yeah. Juliette Lewis is in the movie. Amy Smart is in the movie. Carmen Electra is in the movie. Uh, so it just goes on and on and on. Matt Walsh makes a cameo. Patton Oswalt plays a DJ at one point.
Ironically, 80% of the people or 90% of the people in this movie appear in Anchorman.
That is very true. Yes. But as far as this movie goes, I, like I said, it's fine. It definitely plays on that whole these two cops who are easily like the worst at their
Don't
job of
like
their
each other.
and they don't like each other, yes, but they're paired up with each other because the plot demands it, I guess. And the two end up becoming good friends. You have literally seen this movie before.
I mean, I will say there are some funny stuff in this movie. Like the stuff that when they're trying to be a comedy, it feels like to me they're trying to be. It felt like the studio wanted it to be a comedy, and Tom Phillips wanted to make more of a buddy cop film, like Lethal Weapon or 48 Hours. And I feel like the studio, I would believe if I honestly I did not look this up, so I don't know. But I honestly feel like if the studio, if someone told me the studio demanded there be a comedy, and Todd Phillips was like, I don't want to make a comedy, I would 100% believe that would be the case because it feels like the comedy feels forced in this movie. Like it doesn't feel like just naturally. Like Old School and Road Trip felt like the comedy progressed naturally. Like they go into a police station, which I might like. The comedic moments actually made me laugh. Like for instance, when they go to the Will Ferrell's, like one of the guy criminals in the jail cell, and the craziest shit happens in that scene.
Literally, like Starsky and Hutch, they basically do like this thing where it's like called a dragon. You're gonna know it when you see it if you watch the movie, but like, they're like shocked when that was actually recorded. I'm like, it's a prison. There's cameras everywhere. I've seen enough
What
prison movies to know this.
what was your reaction when you saw that scene? Were you like, oh my God?
I honestly hope that they kept it like ambiguous. Like I hope they didn't show anything at all. I was imagining like they were taking, like doing this or something to that effect, something really dirty, but they didn't want to show it because it's PG-13. Like Ben Stiller's performance was giving out the energy of that did not happen. Like this, we never speak of this again. So like I don't know, it just took the bite out of the joke almost.
Yeah. Did you see when you saw Will Ferrell and he's saying and he wanted Owen Wilson to do that one thing with his belly button? Did you like? Were you like, oh my God, no, they are not going there? Were you like, what was it? I bet you watching this going, please tell me that we're not going there. We're not going there. Oh God, we're going there.
Yeah, there was a part of me
What?
that was really afraid, but considering the fact the movie's PG-13, they were not going to go that far. They would probably go up to the line, but they weren't going to go that far.
And the funniest Will Ferrell scene to me is the scene where he's on the phone with Vince Vaughn saying, I didn't tell him nothing and everything. And he goes, you're really lucky in prison. He goes, wait a minute, let me ask you something. What are you wearing? And he goes, silk shirt with he said with jeans and pants. And he goes, oh, so sexy. And he's like, you sick son of a bitch. He goes, don't. I was like, what do you say? You sick son of a bitch. I started laughing. That gave me a chuckle. He's a little sick son of a bitch. I was like, that actually had me chuckle. And then there's like the joke. There's some funny jokes to me, like the knife throwing scene is hilarious.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing that made me laugh the most and probably like the most like dark humor kind of way is when Starsky and Hutch are the mimes and they're doing the mime thing and then they arrest Vince Vaughn and then it's like the cocaine is in the garage and then Stiller shoots the garage door. They throw open the garage door and it's a pony and
He's all got bullet holes.
the pony keels over and dies.
But I mean, seriously though, like I will say there's a couple scenes that I did like. Like to me, I was like, they have like a topless scene. I'm like in a PG-13 movie, and I'm just like, you could tell that somebody wants to be rated R because there's no way that scene goes in a PG-13 film.
Like, yeah, very blatantly, like
It's
literally
just
full frontal.
I don't even know if that's PG.
And and even like I think it was Starsky is like asking these questions and he stops, jaw full on open, just like full on bare
as
chest.
we all would.
Like, I mean, yes, of course, but just sitting there, like, just stops mid-sentence. And I'm like, if this were rated R, we would be seeing making an appearance, let's just say.
And
But
we have
no,
seen Old School and the hang and what's it called? Road
road trip.
Trip. And we have seen that happen in those movies. I imagine like that probably would have. I mean, I don't know if it's on the unrated version. I don't know. I do know that, and then there's a love scene in the movie between like Carmen Electra, Amy Smart, and Owen Wilson. That's cut out of the freaking movie. Like you start making out with each other, and then all of a sudden it ends, and I'm like, you have three beautiful people, and yet they're about to have sex, and you don't show that. What? In what world?
And the thing
Like
that
Carmen Electra and Amy Smart.
Yeah, like
What?
Carmen Electra was a name in the 90s. She was married to Dennis Rodman. Like there's like name value there, some, but there's name value there. So
This is probably her best role in a movie yet.
probably
Her best
probably yes.
performance.
No, but
I
this
mean,
is
have you seen most of the movies she's in?
that's very true, yes. But this movie's just full of weird choices. Like Snoop Dogg is a character named Huggy. which I know he's a character in the show. Jacob, you enlightened me on that, but naming yourself after a diaper is certainly a choice. That is all that I will say.
I I will say this is probably my favorite captain on in a cop movie because he feels like a captain, a police captain. Because obviously he's in From Dusk Till Dawn, one of my favorite, probably my favorite Robert Rodriguez film, and Quentin Tarantino film. And I honestly think Fred, Fred Ward, I think his name's Fred Willard, not Fred Willard. Is it Fred Willard or Fred Ward?
Hang on, I've got IMDb. It is Fred, Fred Williamson.
He
Fred Williamson.
he is a great captain. And especially how Ben Stiller. The only thing Ben Stiller kind of annoys me. Doesn't he annoy you out of the? Owen Wilson, I feel like he's like the fun guy. We're like, all right, I like him, But Ben Stiller's just like, I'm by the book, no, And I'm just like, really, like,
Honestly, Ben Stiller was funny in bursts in this movie, but he basically plays like what he does in every movie. Like I've seen Mystery Men now as part of the 99 Project, and I've seen him in some other things. Stiller to me feels very like I don't know, one note. I don't know how fair that is, but it just like he plays characters that are eerily similar to each other, maybe with the exception of The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, but I haven't seen that movie in forever.
I will say I do think that the scene that also had was funny was the Russian roulette scene where he puts the bullet and the bullet goes back in the gun. The Asian guy's like, no, no, no. And he's trying to shit. And he's like, oh my god. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. He pulls the trigger. Oh my god. He's like, no, no, don't point at me. And he pulls the trigger. Oh god, oh god. He's like, and Sludge comes in. He just does. I mean, you can obviously probably put the clip in, but yeah, I mean that's not seeing Happy Fun in the Nutshell. Like, he thinks it's empty. It's like I'm like that to me was like so funny because it was like he doesn't know the guns and the bullet. So, it's like
Exactly.
it's like like it goes. Those are things I thought were really funny, like unintentionally funny. But like Vince Vaughn just plays a generic villain. He plays a very generic villain.
Pretty
I will
much.
say he is likable though. He is likable. Like you don't believe like he's not trying to like, oh, I'm an evil mastermind. But you do believe he's a better villain than most villains. Although I will say it was funny also to have the band back from old school at the at the bar mitzvah.
Yeah,
And then Vince Vaughn's like,
that was a nice get. Another thing I wanted to bring up, the soundtrack in this movie is actually really cool. I love
yeah.
that. I love like that era of music. And so I was just like, I know that song. I know that song. I know that song. And I was like popping because I was like, oh yeah, I love that song so much.
Oh, apparently Snoop Dogg actually got slapped in the face by Vince Vaughn, and he kept his composure. And then after they called cut, he went up to the Todd Phillips and said, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if someone slapped me, I would probably be like, yeah, what was that? So that would be the appropriate.
Improv. I will say I do like that they also have cameos from the original Starsky and Hutch delivering on the same car, to which I mean I know some people are like, well, that makes no sense. Okay.
Yeah, like who are these guys? Like, are they also like give them clever names like Starks and Hitch or something to that effect? Like you just have them
And they're also cops.
dress the same, play by the same actors. Just very weird choice.
I will say I do think that yeah, it's something that I do think that I really enjoy. Um yeah, I will say I do think that I really enjoy that about this is that it does have some moments, but then it feels like for instance the cocaine the idea. I think the plot of it being like cocaine that's undetectable is pretty cool. But the only thing that made no freaking sense to me is like, oh, we tested it for sweet and low. I'm like, you tested it? I'm like, well then how you should take cocaine in there because Starsky drank some.
Yeah, and
It makes no sense. That to me, I was like, what the fuck? Like that makes no sense.
also, how can you tell? Like, I mean, you can obviously tell the difference between sugar and cocaine, but how does like anybody like how was this tested? That's what I want to know.
They do this and go, yeah, that's just sweet and low. This isn't cocaine. I mean, was that their test? And they said,
I,
we're not going to test it. This is sweet and low.
Apparently, someone had a cup of coffee and be like, "Here, Pete, here you go." And, like test that and be like, nice."
Then later on, he went like this, like he had to go to a dance off and pull a gun out of the day. I mean, this movie, I just feel like it's very forgettable as a Todd Phillips movie, you know?
Yeah, it's like this and School for Scoundrels, which I have not seen as of this recording. I will be in the next couple of days.
I will say, I think this might be my least favorite of his, but we'll see. I mean, School for Scoundrels, I will say there are things I dislike in that movie, and there are things I really like in that movie. I'm hoping when I rewatch it, because it's on Prime, I'm gonna watch it. I own it on DVD, but I don't know why. I don't think it has a Blu-ray release. I'll have to check that. But I want to watch it on Prime and see what, compare and contrast. I truly think School for Scoundrels is better. I really think I know Billy Bob Thornton is amazing in that movie, but this one I just felt like, come on, like it just felt so generic. Like it feels like 21 Jump Street. If you really want a good adaptation of a classic TV show turned into a comedy, watch 21 Jump Street. That's a 10 times better movie. This just
Or
feels like
or the
I don't
other.
know why. It just feels, or the other guys. Yeah, the other guy. But the other guys isn't like a classic TV show.
Yeah, that's true. But as far as Starsky and Hutch goes, I'd say has its moments, its funny moments, but largely it's pretty forgettable. This is a weird entry in Todd Phillips's like canon. It's this School for Scoundrels, and then he makes The Hangover, if my timeline serves me right.
Yes, that is correct.
But this is like a weird one, and then School for Scoundrels, and then he finally makes it big with Hangover. So we're almost at like prime cut Todd Phillips. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. We do have to cover School for Scoundrels as of yet. But
Oh, it's a great show.
What did you all think of Starsky and Hutch? Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. Jacob, your link is in the description. Tell the people where they can find you.
They can find me at 3D Movie Cinema.
All right.
And yeah, I will be covering Beetlejuice this week, the first one, and then in preparation for Beetlejuice.
The juice will be loose and then loose again. But as far as this channel goes, the Phillips Project will roll on by taking a look at School for Scoundrels. But for Jacob Collins, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. You all take care.